Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing the new Netflix film High Flying Bird. This was directed by Steven Soderbergh and stars Andre Hollander and Zazie Beetz. This really looks at a sports agent who pitches a rookie basketball client intriguing and controversial business opportunity during a lockout. So it really looks at the basketball world and these particular agents that work within that world and the clients that they do have. Andre Hollander plays the main character that we follow, who's an agent, and we get to see him do what he does best and trying to keep particular basketball players on track and offering them opportunities. And we're really it's sort of a fly on the wall look at this particular character that we follow him from place to place, from meeting to meeting, and we get to see people around him. We get to see his secretary or assistant, Sam, played by Zazie Beetz. And it sort of looks at their sort of friendship and relationship, and this sort of has a lot of ups and downs along the way, but is an interesting film nonetheless. Look, what I was really impressed about this is I'm a big fan of Steven Soderbergh. I think he makes really interesting films and he has some really great ideas, and he's sort of an artist in the way he executes his films and what he's trying to say and the way he makes the films that he's invested his time and energy into. And this film is different to a lot of other films. Ever since Unsane, Steven Soderbergh's been making films on iPhones. And Unsane was really a trial run of this sort of way of filming. And this film, for High Flying Bird, really ups the ante with this. It's beautifully shot. A lot of the interiors are fantastic, exteriors are good. The use of filters and camera is close to really good digital film, and I was really impressed with this, which means he's ultimately using high-end iPhones or the new sort of products. And I really love that. I love the shots he comes up with and the ideas. And I really like the characters that inhabit this world. It's just brilliantly put together. And I think Steven Soderbergh's really onto something. And as the iPhones evolve into much more capable phones and camera equipment within us, I think we'll start to see many more films made on the iPhone. And I think that is an interesting concept and idea, and it could change the face of the way films are made. And I really like that. I thought all the acting was solid in this. It was well written. Andre Hollander is really great. Zazie Beetz is fantastic, an actress I really like and like to see more of, and I've only really seen her in Deadpool 2. I really want to see her in Atlanta, which I haven't got to quite yet. But I think she's a really great talent, and I'd like to see much more of her. Andre Hollander, I hadn't seen much of him, and ultimately the only film I really know him from is The End of Moonlight, where he plays an older version of a particular character. But I think he's solid in this. I'd love to see more from him. The way he handles the dialogue, the relationships he forms with the other characters in the film, and the relationship his character has with Sam, and the way that Andre and Zazie bounce off each other is really fantastic. You really believe that these two are friends and they work really well together. The subject matter is interesting enough that we get through. It was sort of similar in a way to Moneyball in a lot of ways, but I felt I wasn't as engaged in this story as I was in Moneyball. Now, criticism. The only sort of criticisms I have about this film is some of the shots didn't quite work, and that's because they were low light, and they are working with a different medium, so I can let those sort of things slide. There are a lot of cuts in particular scenes that sort of throw you out of the scene that you're watching, the two very sharp cuts. And I know that they would have done that in order to break up the scene rather than just one long take and have different cuts like they do with other films when they use normal camera equipment. And I could understand that, but that was some of the little criticisms I had. And I wasn't, as I said, wasn't as engaged in this film as I had been in previous films about this sort of subject matter. I found an interesting film, but I wasn't sucked into the story as much as I could have been or should have been in regards to this film. Final verdict. If you like movies about sport and interested in behind the scenes, behind the curtain of what actually transpires in these with agents and clients and sporting people, you might enjoy this. If you're a fan of Soderbergh, you'll probably get a lot out of this as well. If you like a film that's telling a simple story but shot in a unique and interesting way, you might enjoy this. And if you like solid acting and well-written stuff, you'll probably get a lot of this as well. I'm going to give High Flying Bird 3.5 out of 5. I like what I saw here. The cinematography and visuals that I saw in this film were the highlight for me, and the acting of the two main leads, Andre Hollander and Zazie Beetz. And I enjoyed what I did see. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe on the bottom. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.